You're listening to the Armwood Opinion Channel here on YouTube. This is John Armwood, and we're here today on the 13th day of March. And as we move into the beginnings of spring, on the evening before daylight savings time, we're going to be talking about how the Republican Party is trying to reintroduce in the same way that it introduced it initially, was known as Jim Crow. Laws that restrict black participation in the system. We can see this right here in Georgia in the wake of the January 6th election, in which both Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff won senatorial elections, and in the November election when Joseph Biden won the presidency. Republicans are upset. They had not lost a statewide office since the 90s, and now they want to change the laws to make it harder to vote. The state assembly has passed legislation restricting Sunday voters, which is an attack on Georgia black churches who organize Soul to Polls. They are working to restrict early voting days to weekdays so that working people who work during the week can't go, and they're cutting back the hours from 9 to 5 instead of being 7 p.m. So people who have to work every day can't vote early, and they're trying to do away with voting by mail without excuse, without a medical excuse. These tactics are Jim Crow type tactics. Their purpose is open. They're trying to stop black people from voting. We must resist. Just like we resisted Trump, just like we resisted in the senatorial races in Georgia. Remember, Governor Kemp is the one who kept black senior citizens from voting in Jefferson County when he was running in 2018, and he stole the election for the governor's race from Stacey Abrams. So we know what's happening, and this is happening across the country. We cannot lay down and take this. We have seen this before. There was a very interesting article in the New York Times last week by Charles Blow, who is a black opinion columnist for the Times, talking about the fact that blacks need to return to the South. And he had moved to Atlanta relatively really recently. I moved to the Atlanta area 37 years ago. I'm from the North, but my family came off the plantation in outside of Thomasville, Georgia, the Ponda Plantation in 1866, and trained to what was then fairly wilderness and indigenous American country in what became Hillsborough County and is now Tampa, and homesteaded there before a large number of European settlers came there. Now we're going through a similar flight that they went through. But we have the numbers in the South to stop them. So we have to take over the state legislators in states like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi, and Hispanics in Texas. We've got, and in Arizona, we have got to take over these states from these people who would like to deprive us of our votes. We have the numbers. We have to exercise the numbers. This is about whites becoming a minority in this country. That's all it's about. This is why they're doing this new Jim Crow. Listen to Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff, the newly elected Democrat, talking about it with Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yeah, Reverend Al, I mean, this is the new Jim Crow, and we must pass H.R. 1, the For the People Act, and we must pass H.R. 4, the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, to end voter suppression and protect the sacred franchise for all Americans. Just yesterday, Reverend Al, I addressed, along with President Biden and Senator Warnock, the Martin and Coretta King breakfast marking the 56th anniversary of the March Across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. As you said, Reverend Al, John Lewis gave me my first job. He is looking down on us right now and expecting us to carry the torch forward. The struggle for voting rights and civil rights continues. They are trying to strip the right to vote away from Black Americans once again. We will not stand for it. And as you heard from my good friend, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, we are ready to reform Senate rules to get this done.
As you can see, he calls it the new Jim Crow. He understands it clearly because he worked for Congressman John Lewis. I have had numerous conversations with John Ossoff. He is a good man and he's there to do the job. This is not about race, even though it's about race. Race is a state of mind. You can be white without having a white supremacist consciousness. And what John Ossoff just expressed was what I'm talking about. The idea of white supremacy is foundational to America. America was constructed on it. It tries to maintain that. It changes form as the economy changes form. Many liberals I know subscribe to it. And no idea of history. So, I mean, these rationalizations of denying who we are as a people are part and parcel of the rationalization that these people use in their sick minds to justify their oppression of black people, their oppression of Hispanic people, their oppression of people of indigenous origin. And they're not alone. We've had black people attack Asians during this crisis, spurred on in large part by Trump's anti Chinese rhetoric. And it is deplorable, and I deplore it. I mean, it's stupidity. We cannot imitate our enemies. And yes, I said these people, these white supremacists, are our enemies. The Donald Trumps, the Lindsey Grahams, the governor of DeSantis in Florida, Ted Cruz's, all of these people are our enemies. And we've got to realize this. And on that note, remember that resistance is not futile. We can and will win. We have the numbers. They're scared of us because they know that when it comes down to it, if there's a level playing field where everybody has an equal chance, we will prevail. Do you really think that Governor Kemp of Georgia and Lindsey Graham of South Carolina can compete on an equal playing field with African Americans? Please. Subscribe to this channel. If you like this channel, please subscribe to this video. Have a good day.